Okay, here we go. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining Madeleine Parker
Hello.
and myself, me, Amalia Natalia with Karmic Kindness. We are here to bring the cosmic chat directly to you for this Taurus new moon that's happening on April 27th at 3:31 p.m. Eastern, 12:31 p.m. Pacific at 7 degrees 46 minutes.
I always love that I never have to look up the time because I just relax about that because I know you're going to know it.
Yeah, great. I'm glad I can help you out like that.
Yeah.
What is that saying? Teamwork makes the dream work, you know?
Yep.
It's perfect.
Yep. You got that base covered.
Yeah, it's great. I just want to just comment on your background, Madeleine. I'm so tickled by it. And Madeleine created that with a little help of AI herself. So props whoop, whoop,
I
to
suppose
that.
AI did it, really, but I told them what I wanted.
Right. You had a say.
Yeah.
I'll give you credit for that. Yeah. It
I
looks
suppose it'd be like hiring an artist. In the old days, you hired an artist. Can you paint me a painting of this? And I want
yeah.
this, and I want this, and I want that.
It's just so happy and springtimey, and I
Yeah.
don't know, it just makes you want to smile and run through the meadow. I don't know.
Yes. Spring vibes. I decided I'm going to do it for all the seasons.
Fun. Oh, all right. Well, we can't wait when summer comes. We'll see what's
I know, I've
happening
already got
there.
it. I've already got that one. But
Okay. All
yeah.
right. Well, we're gonna have to wait. We
Yep.
gotta
Another
wait. And
month and a half.
yeah, fun. All right. Well, let's talk about this Taurus new moon. So, Taurus, um, Earth sign. You know, every time I think of Taurus, the glyph is a bull, and I feel like bulls can be stubborn. I have some Taurans in my life, and they can be a little bit bullheaded and
Mhm.
stubborn. However, the other wonderful thing about Taurus is it's very earthy, goddessy. It's ruled by Venus, very much about value, what's valuable, worth, the material world. There's a connection with animals and agriculture. So we've got this like, to me, it's like a dichotomy of sweetness and stubbornness together in one sign. It's connected to the body gates of the throat, the neck, the larynx, the thyroid, vocal cords, and tonsils. So it's like really this part of your body is very
Yep.
much connected to Taurus. So
Neck. Like if like for instance, Sagittarius is the thighs. When you see a horse, you think of thighs and the hips. In a bull, you think of the neck.
just very strong. Yeah.
Yeah, thick neck.
Yeah. I wouldn't necessarily think that, but now that you say it, that that's going to be in my head. But I think the other part of that too is like just being aware of the words that you say, the way you're using your voice, I would say is something to just be aware of. Thyroid health, I feel like, is a huge topic for society right now. I hear a lot of people talking about thyroid health. And there's connections to your thyroid and gluten sensitivities and all sorts of things like that. So just a few things. I did a quick search this morning. I am not a doctor. This is not medical advice. Just I was guided to share this for anyone who might be listening. I thought it was interesting for myself as well. Selenium is a really supportive mineral for your thyroid, and you can find that in Brazil nuts, and it protects you from oxidative stress. Seaweed and Greek yogurt they have iodine, which is also really great for the thyroid. You don't want to overdo it though. And this was something I did not know. If you have thyroid issues, I cannot remember if it's hyper or hypo, but broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and kale should be eaten in moderation. I was like, that's interesting. With vegetables, you think just, carte blanche to eat them. It's all healthy, but not necessarily for some people. So I thought that was just a little tidbit about the thyroid and its connection to supporting us during this moon cycle. And if gluten is an issue for you, or if you're wondering if maybe gluten is, now might be a great time to take it out of your diet for a little while and just see how you feel, because that's a big thing for your thyroid. Whoa, I almost dropped my notebook. Okay. We have A few aspects to the moon that I wanted to share, but before I do that, let me share the impact chart. Let's see here. So we can take a look and see how we will be affected. Okay, so I'm going to come over here. Hold on. I had the wrong thing up. Madeline, are you? Yeah, so hopefully, let me make sure everyone's seeing this online.
Yeah.
They're seeing the impact chart. Let's see. I'm having to pop over and there's like a little bit of a lag. Okay. Yes. All right. Perfect. All right. So basically what we're looking at here is we are looking at the impact chart for this moon, and it's going to affect folks that are, hold on, I lost it. Let me go back here. Okay. So it's basically going to be affecting folks that have any points or degrees between 3 and 12 degrees of the fixed signs. So that would be obviously Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo, between 3 and 12 degrees of those signs. So you will be feeling the energy of this moon in an impactful way, and it might be a little bit uncomfortable for you if you have any points or planets in these areas of your chart. Okay. A little bit about what's happening with the moon and some aspects. I know Madeline's going to talk about this as well. Couple of things that really jumped out at me. The moon and the sun obviously are always hanging out together in the same sign. I already kind of described the energy of Taurus. So, how is that going to show up in your inner and outer worlds with the moon and the sun hanging out in the same place? We have two challenging aspects to the moon, both squares, and then we have an opposition to Black Moon Lilith. So I'm going to talk about the Black Moon Lilith first because I find this really fascinating. So Black Moon Lilith in myth is she was Adam's first wife, and they lived in the Garden of Eden together, and she refused to submit to the will of Adam. She felt that within their relationship that they were equals and that she did not have to follow his rules or submit to him in any way, including sexually. And because of this, she was banished out of the Garden of Eden. And then Eve was created from Adam's rib, and she was literally part of Adam. And so there was no equality, or there wasn't an equality there. He ruled over her in a sense. So Black Moon Lilith is not an actual point or planet. I'm sorry, she's not an actual planet. She is, and she's not a moon, but she is a point. She is basically she's the midpoint between the Earth and the moon's farthest point from the Earth in its orbit. So she spends 9 months in each sign, and she's going to be in the sign of Scorpio, which is opposite Taurus. She moved into it March 27th through December 20th of 2025. So think about this. I think this is fascinating about Black Moon Lilith is she's in each sign for 9 months. 9 months is a gestation period. So
Wow.
every 9 months, we have her empowered effect on us in different places, affecting us in different ways. And so right now, Scorpio, that's this sign of deep desires, sexual liberation, shadow work. Think about it as a reclamation of your identity in a way. She symbolizes those parts of us that were repressed, that are now able to come to the surface. So with this opposition to this moon, to the Taurus moon, we are really being encouraged, and it could be uncomfortable for some folks, to look at that energy, to, in a grounded way, to go into how we value ourselves, what we have maybe considered shameful about ourselves, and to embrace it in a whole new way. There's this feeling of this depth of emotional connection that we might have with ourselves, and then this freedom that we're also really striving to have. Just like Black Moon Lilith was striving to be free of Adam's rulership where she had her own empowered voice and was willing to leave the Garden of Eden and strike out on her own. Some people feel like she could be rageful and vengeful and angry. I feel like that energy is okay when channeled in a way that's empowering to self and not harmful to others. So we have an opportunity, I feel like, the way I see it, to step into our own empowered self and embrace those parts of ourselves that we considered shameful, and really allow them the space to breathe and to be there and to show up as our authentic self. So that really was highlighted for me when I was looking at this chart, just so like spotlight lit. So however this may, if people want to
How
tune into
long is
this,
Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio for?
till December, hold on one second, let me get to my note. December 20th, 2025.
Wow, interesting. That so it's been in Scorpio for how many years, you said? 60, 50?
No. It's 9 months in each sign.
Sorry, 9 months in each sign. Sorry.
Yeah. Yep. So she moved in on March 27th of
Okay.
this year, and she moves out December 20th of this year. So I love that it's 9 months. It's like, it is a gestation period. It's, like an opportunity for us to rebirth ourselves in a way,
Yeah.
and take all those parts of ourselves that we don't tend to want to look at and integrate them.
Yep. And that is the energy of transformation in Scorpio. So, Black Moon Lilith is going through transformation, but it also sounds like Black Moon Lilith is a little plutonic or a little the nature of Black Moon Lilith describes a little bit of the Scorpio energy anyway.
Definitely, which to me is even more potent.
Yeah.
That's why I think it was even more
Right.
highlighted. Yeah. So that's just one piece of it. The other part of it is the moon and sun square to Mars. So, okay, holy moly. We've got this grounded, stable Taurus energy, and we have this fiery, assertive Mars and Leo energy. So there's this internal tension between stability and assertiveness. So this is something that came up when I was reflecting on this. A question you can ask yourself is, what truly matters? What is that balance between your personal desire and recognition, and then practical reality? Think about that. Practical reality is Taurus, personal desire and recognition is Mars and Leo. And I know Madeleine's going to go in depth more on this, so I'm not going to spend too long here. And then the other aspect, the square, moon and sun square Pluto in Aquarius. Oh my gosh, to me, this is just intense. We have intense transformational energies at play.
That's a grand T-square. You got the square to the Mars and Mars opposite Pluto squaring.
Yeah.
So it's
Yowzer. Pointing at.
Well, the sun there, the new moon.
Yeah. Okay. So
Pluto's at 3 degrees. Mars is at 4 degrees Leo. So they're opposite. And then the sun is at 7 degrees. And then the moon's going to, as the moon approaches that, it exacts that square like a couple hours before the new moon. So
I feel that. Golly day. Whew. All right. So again, I want to just kind of share the highlights for this here. Beware of stubbornness and resistance to change with this aspect, and embrace the opportunities for growth and stability through patience and perseverance. So kind of the Cliff's notes to that, the abridged version of that is really, you might feel some discomfort. Be aware of the discomfort and recognize that it is likely an opportunity for growth, and that may require some persistence to follow through on it.
Understatement of the year. Opportunity for growth.
Yeah, that seems to be a theme. Every single time we share.
There's a transit. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in conjunction with this, I want to share the gene key, because what I'm really loving bridging these two things together. And I still have yet to record a video. I promise I will do that once I get past my move. But what I find so interesting is that this gene key, let me share this with everyone so you can see. I think this is so fascinating because I feel like it connects very strongly with what we are likely to come up against when we have these like shadow parts of ourselves. So we have the shadow of addiction, the gift of invention, and the city, which is like the highest aspect that's possible of silence. And so, I'd love for folks to think about this in terms of, we can be addicted to lots of things. But let's think about addiction in terms of thoughts, addicted to the old thoughts that we think. And how can we somewhat reinvent ourselves or come up with a different mode of thinking and being? We do that through silence, being in the silence that is often uncomfortable. We tend to revert back to areas that are, or habits that feel comfortable. Like, some people may turn to alcohol, or they may overwork, or they may exercise to a point of addiction. And how do we invent a different way? How do we step into a different pathway that doesn't rely on these old habits and patterns? And that often comes through the silence and the stillness, and being with the things that we are looking to escape, the thoughts we're looking to escape, the feelings we're looking to escape, by doing the things that we do to distract ourselves. So this feels like, to me, a really potent and powerful gene key in conjunction with the astrology, where it really is this transformational place. And well, I don't want to, we'll just leave it there. I could go into more detail, but yeah, just to me, it's really fascinating that that's a piece of the puzzle as well. And then I will share one last bit, and then I'm going to let Madeline take it away. The flower that we have. Okay, this one to me, again, this is so much connected to, it feels like it's very much connected to Taurus and Black Moon Lilith, and this sense of reinventing ourselves and a fresh start. And that is the night blooming Sirius. So we have this flower that blooms only at night, so in the darkness, in the shadow, in the depths, and it reminds us to take a leap, to be fearless. I also feel like that's a message for all of us right now, just to step into our power, to be fearless. It gives us a realization of our true gifts and allows us to step into them, expand them. It also gives you a deeper understanding of your shadow side and how you can integrate that. So, and it's funny because this card came out before I really dove deeply into the astrology, and I was kind of like confused by why this flower was emerging. And then when I saw the astrology and the gene key, I thought, oh, okay, I get it. I understand now. So
what was the beginning? You said this is a flower about the hidden or the unseen or something like that?
yeah, it is. Yeah, because it's,
wow, that's Pluto.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Madeline.
It's crazy.
It is.
And that's the earth. And we've been getting all those fire energies. We got all those fiery red cards and yellow. And now
yeah.
new moon earthy sign is this mellow green
deep,
color.
I mean, you can,
yeah.
because like the green, like heart chakra, Taurus is very heart centered too. But this is like,
yeah,
like you could dive into it. There's
Mhm.
there's something empowering in there. We've got that yellow, that sacral chakra energy too. So really a fantastic flower, I feel like, for this Taurus new moon.
It is totally blowing me away because of what I'm about to talk about is so exactly that card, and you're going to see.
Okay. All righty. So that's it. So Madeline, you want to dive in, share the screen of all the goodness?
Okay, so first I want to share the screen to something called the Taurus field, okay? So the Taurus field is that card, that center thing. So the Taurus field is basically the cow that eats the grass, digests the grass, poops the grass, which then fertilizes the grass, which then feeds the cow. So the cow is a Taurus field.
Ah, uh-huh.
So the Taurus field is we are the manifestors of the reality. We bring the non-real, the hidden or the unreal into reality field through the Taurus field, through the heart chakra, through that center. That's where the Taurus field connects. This is where we're getting information. It's basically the two polarities. This is the receiving, and then this is the action, and it connects in the heart, and it makes the figure 8. That's the cow that eats the grass, that poops the grass, that fertilizes. That's the effortless abundance, which is you reach a frequency, zero fear, and it activates the Taurus field. And that's why in all of like ancient philosophies and religions, they want you to be calm and zen, because what you're doing is you're getting out of the way of the Taurus field. You're allowing the flow to happens in the calm energy of Taurus. Has to be grounded. The bull is grounded to the earth, the magnetic field, boom, the reality plane. And then through that calm energy, it starts to channel in the higher vibrations and creates a Taurus field of effortless abundance. So I'm studying all this because I'm studying this book by Marcus Manilius, who is a Caesar Augustus astrologer, and his book called Astronomica, written 100 years before Christ, which is he is giving the indigenous knowledge reported by the priests, Egyptian priests of the time, who handed down this knowledge. It's called indigenous wisdom. They handed down this knowledge of how the science of astrology. That's why occult is astrology, because it's the hidden. Occult isn't evil. Occult is the hidden. And these priests, through observing day and day and writing and charting, observed the science of how it works. And that's what astrology means. Astro is the light, or God, the light. Ology is logic. So astro is the knowledge of the light. And so these ancient priests, these Egyptian ancient priests, were studying the behavior of the lights and how it was impacting us, how it was causing changes and shifts here. So anyway,
That's so cool.
it is cool. So the Taurus field, I just thought that card was crazy because I'm studying this Taurus field thing. And anyway, that just links up very much to that card, because there was that center hole and the energies are kind of flowing through here. So anyway.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, so now I was going to go to the chart of this new moon and show everybody these crazy squares, the big T square happening with Pluto, Mars, and the Sun. And interesting that I'm seeing a mystic rectangle too. And the mystic rectangle is in the receiving energies. That's because I put Juno in, and Juno is the asteroid of marriage, partnerships. And this is a Venus ruled new moon. So, and Venus is in its exaltation. And this is don't forget, it's an exalted new moon. What does it mean when a planet is exalted? It means it has a lot of effect, a lot of power. It is causing extra dosage of its character onto us. So this full moon, this new moon in an exaltation is the ultimate thing that you would want a new moon to do, which would be to start an abundant new start. That would be long term, because Taurus, any kind of an earth side, is disciplined, long term, hard work, and that's how we ground reality. That's how we make reality, change reality. So this new moon is some very auspicious new beginning in its most abundant new moon. By the way, always, if you want a garden, gardeners plant 3 days after this new moon. Your plant will be the most auspicious, the most bushiest version of itself. But also that's a metaphor for anything we start on around the new moon. You always want to start a few days after, when the moon is just crescenting, just peaking out. Then you implement a new beginning, you initiate a new start. So that's what's happening right now. We're going to be initiating these major new starts. We've got Venus, who is the ruler of this new moon, in conjunction with the nose and Saturn, which indicates that these are very long-term new beginnings that will last most likely 29 to 30 years. Just like you're moving into a new place. You'll probably live there for 29 years. A lot of people will get mortgages, 29 to 30 year long mortgages, right? Venus is money. Saturn is a commitment, major commitment. The north node there, which is our soul destiny, which is course correcting us. It's the ecliptical plane where we're going to get eclipses all year. So that's going to be where our life is changing. And oh my, it's just raining all of a sudden outside. So anyway, so this new moon is we're planting these seeds that will feed us and create a Taurus field for us in our life. Abundant new, not to say the word over and over again, but a fresh new start. That is one high, there's heaviness around this because it's committed. A lot of times when we commit to something, we realize, like, for instance, perhaps you move into your new place and you go, darn, I really don't like that the elevator is all this far away. Like, that's the only thing that really bothers me. So there's something about these new beginnings that's like you have to give up something that you really do love, that you like, that something about your old life just isn't going to come with us, but that's these new beginnings. So in other words, it's really looking at a completely fresh start. I mean, this is the fresh start. This is the new ground. We've had the earthquake and everything just dissolving like a flood, with all those planets in Pisces dissolving our old lives, completely dissolving our old major 30-year chapter in our lives, like just completely going away and fading away. And now we're left with this soot, this muddy blah. And that's where we're planting these new beginnings, where we're just going to have a fresh start. And with Venus in exaltation, by the way, and with the nodes there, and the nodes is a fiery energy. It's like it's a dragon. We're very obsessed in a way about this, but that's good. It motivates us, it drives us. So we've got this desire. This new moon is, because Venus is what makes us happy, what we desire. But again, it's in Pisces, so it's exalted. So we're not looking at hedonistic desires, although that area of Taurus can be slightly hedonistic. That's a shadow aspect. But with Venus in exaltation, which is not about, it's about the spiritual, or the ethereal, the pleasure, that what pleases us on a spiritual level. We're looking at soulmates, past life partners coming together. It can be soul contracts with business partnerships coming together, but these new beginnings involve a partnership that will be a commitment for a good 29 to 30 years. So in other words, we desire this on a spiritual level. It feels aligned. It's putting us in our true destined path, which they all do, but the nodes being right there with the planet that's ruling this new moon, and Saturn being there. I mean, first of all, this is just a very rare conjunction to have the nodes and Saturn. It's every 13 years. And then for the Venus to hit it at that same point, it's just bananas, So it basically, Venus is a huge part of this story of these new beginnings, obviously, which means that these new beginnings involve creative projects, business partnerships, romantic, soul contracted, divine past life, twin flame type deals, or even like if you're clients, new clients, because everything seventh house is basically a relationship you sign a contract with, because it can be landlords, it can be a realtor, it can be, but remember, this is huge. So this is so it's most likely romantic, most likely relationship connected, collaborative, soul contracted type new beginnings. Now, these are, again, new beginnings. It's on that, it's to square the Pluto and the Mars, which is definitely not easy. That's a toughie, and that's scary for some people if you have planets there. But with that mystic rectangle there, and we've got Mars making a trine to Venus, the ruler of this eclipse, everything's going to be okay. You're going to get through whatever happens. And not only do you get through, there's a blessing on the other side of this if it hits you. Because I know people I'm reading for right now going through a lot of plumbing problems with that moon up, and plumbing is a metaphor for the hidden, because it's Pluto. Plumbing is Pluto, it's hidden. So they have blocked plumbing with crap coming out and all kinds of stuff, which is exactly what this is doing to us it's happening to us metaphorically as well, right? So we're getting this sun squaring Mars, causing us to have some sort of ego, frustration, energy going on that perhaps causes some kind of I have an example of someone who left the faucet on, which is why it happened. So their plumbing went, and I know two people that their plumbing went crazy, and one of them had left the faucet on, so it flooded the system out. So, but it was a clogged system. There was a problem there. It was because they left the water on Sun square Mars, where you're not really like, you're just slightly off your center and you don't pay attention or something. And you, anyway, it causes this flare up and reveal, because that's what Pluto is. It's going to reveal secrets. It's going to reveal woundings. It's going to reveal triggering of basically anything that we're still carrying with us that is lower vibrational, and that is attachment or gunky or crap, and any kind of a block that's stopping us from vibrating high enough for these new beginnings, basically. And and Uranus is making a sextile. Wow, it's a Uranian transit, with Uranus making that big square to try, which is interesting because that's actually really positive. Uranus is a very positive energy for where's Neptune? Neptune is opposing them. So Uranus is very liberating, and it's a higher octane of Mercury. So it's very positive to have that square coming in, that rectangle, downloads, ideas, visions, hunches. It's very spiritual. And then all these planets in Pisces, it's sort of like really the soul or the higher realms, or our guides are speaking louder when these rectangles in very vivid dreams. And we have Venus at that end degree point. It's going to hit the Gandanta point. So there's like, that's like where some deep healing occurs, and emotional sort of buildups. And, that definitely can happen on this new moon. We're
I think
definitely,
oh,
yeah,
sorry, Madeline. I was just
go
going to
for
say
it.
the one thing that's interesting too, kind of bringing in the Gene Keys gift of invention. That to me also is very much like Uranus, is very
Yes,
innovative.
yes,
So there's that supportive
yep,
piece as well for us to be able to step into. And then we have the Uranian energy that can support a new way for us to maybe reinvent ourselves or come up with an innovative way of approaching a problem or something in our lives that we have otherwise not been able to get beyond or move through up to that point.
yes, spot on. I think you're absolutely correct in that. And then don't forget, Pluto is in Aquarius too. So it's like, this involves us shifting to the new earth, changing to the new future, these new beginnings. I think a very good point. They're going to be futuristic. And the other thing is, when you get the moon squaring Mars, you're getting ego perceptions where we're busting out of our stuck, because these are fixed signs. So we don't like change. So,
Mhm.
there's like some sort of like, and then with that Uranian sextile to Venus, the ruler of this new moon, we're busting out of our minds. We're wow, this is breaking the way I think about things, and even for the person that, if somebody comes in from your past, because I do a lot of readings for people, they're like, no, I can't think of who it is, or it can't be that person. Well, the cards always say it's someone you don't think it would be, right? So that's the kind of person that could show up here from the past. Like if you've never met them, it is your past life person or a past life connection, there would be someone you normally would never sort of somewhat hang out with, or there'd be totally a different type of person, or they're going to be very eccentric or oddballs. Or you meet them online, social media. You could meet, if you have planets that hit right here, you could meet your divine mate on social media, on a dating site. I have seen transits like that for people's charts and recommended them. They go on to a dating site and they absolutely met their person a few times. And I normally don't really like dating sites, but if you have a transit that's supporting that, it is a call to go on there. So that was, yeah. So it's
Love is in
interesting.
the air.
Yes. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else we can talk about. I mean, with that Pluto Mars transit, I mean, it happens every 2 years, but really what's going to happen is we just really bust through and we feel very courageous because Mars is in that energy of the lion,
Yeah.
ready to get over this darn thing, this issue that's going to show up around that thing. So let's use plumbing as a metaphor. It's like you've had this weird plumbing that has been a bit volatile for a while, and you're just going to get it over and done with. You're going to pay the money and you're going to do it. This could be a new moon where we get over some sort of money fears. That's another one because it's squaring Pluto. So we face some sort of deeper hidden fear that's blocking us, and we get over it. And that's a very Plutonic thing, where you have a transformation and you suddenly have the light where you had fear. For instance, you think you're going to die of starvation, but something shows up, something happens right at that point. And you're like, oh my gosh, I am being taken care of. And suddenly that fear turns into a belief, a rejuvenated belief in God or the universe. So that happens in these. That's why they call them moksha houses, because you have spiritual liberations, because you're taken to a point of crisis where you think you're not being taken care of, and then all of a sudden you're aware of the magic of the force of the universe is there, and it's the Fool card and tarot, you land on your feet, you know. So anyway, Pluto and Mars are going to reveal where we have fear-based clinching-ish energies in our frequency, where we're going like a little bit, and so we're gonna have to release that. We got to let that go, because this is kind of like the World card in tarot, where you're letting, you don't have any attachments. You can't birth the new reality with attachments. It's going to hold you back, you know. So we're like transforming those fear-based attachments to faith, to like, oh my gosh, wow, this can happen, because this is a very abundant new moon. It's actually, I feel really good about the economy. I know it's kind of like, although some people could think that is a really challenging economy transit, right? It could be, you know, the stock market is Pluto, the moon, and Taurus is the bull, which is Wall Street, right? So that's very, this is a very money thing. But if something does kind of collapse here in the finance world or whatever, there's definitely a strong new birth growing, an undergrowth that is super abundant in this new moon, in this new earth. It's like, that's okay. Whatever falls away is kind of like an eclipse in a way. But these squares are Mars, which is the energy of destruction, disruption, frustration, conflict, but also the ending and the severing of. So it can be oftentimes, if you're vibrating at a high frequency, and you've done a lot of work or spiritual growth or whatever, you're really just ending some of these old habits, these addictions like you were talking about, and clearing these lower density fears that are stopping you, that like not facing yourself. And it comes up, so you face it, then you face it, and you slay that dragon. You kill
So,
the fear, and then you're free.
so this feels like with the Mars and the Pluto aspects to the sun and the moon,
Yeah.
this is absolutely, undoubtedly going to be a transformational new moon
Yeah.
for everyone. Some people maybe more so than others. One thing you mentioned that I wanted to kind of come back to is about, you know, people feeling this, like you use me as an example, you know, moving into a new place, and there's going to be things that I don't have in that place, or that I miss from this place. And that's so true. I've already identified those things.
Yeah.
And I've been looking at ways to be at peace with not having certain things
Interesting.
at the new
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and I don't know if this is true, but I feel like it's one of those things where it feels like a problem or a loss for me in this now moment, but later I won't feel that same way.
Right.
It won't be as big of a thing as it is
Yeah.
for me right now.
Yeah. You'll probably discover that you don't really need it, because where we go next, we're going to have probably other things. See, that's where it's that square to the mind, because in
Yeah.
your mind, you think you need that, but the universe is saying, no, we've got you covered. You're covered. Yes, you need that, but we're going to give it to you at way better way that you
Yeah.
can't even think of.
Right.
So that's interesting. And that's why it's slightly scary. And that's why astrology is so helpful, because you can't see around that corner. So you're like, you know.
Yeah. Well, and it's, you know, I feel like too, it's you know, for a lot of us, it's a letting go. We're letting go of these old structures,
Yeah.
old beliefs, old habits and patterns. You know, in
Whole
my
life.
Lotus Way Flower Evolution program that I'm in, which are all, you know, all the cards and the flowers and the elixirs and different things that I share. Um, this the flower this month is the yellow prickly pear. And that has everything to do with letting go of things that are weighing you down. That
Yeah.
could be physically, mentally, emotionally. And
Yes.
it
Old
it
conceptions for sure. Yeah.
it's big. It's
Yeah.
big. And that particular essence has sold out twice this month.
Really?
So we can get it the people in the program we get it for the month, and then we
Yeah.
can buy more if we would like more for support for the month. And I have attempted to get it twice, and has sold out both times.
Oh, that's so
So
interesting.
as a collective, this is a theme that many people are experiencing. And I think it's really fascinating, because we are really being invited and called with that Mars and the Pluto to let go of the grip, and to be part of the energy of transformation for ourselves and for the whole,
Yep.
for all.
Yep, because with this new moon with the new beginnings, we got to let go of the way we see things. These are new beginnings in ways we've got to be open-minded. You know, Aquarius is about open-mindedness, and it's like, so this new moon will really open our mind to new potentials, to new ways of creating abundance that are just completely new.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sure there's going to be lots more job opportunities online because of this new moon. Like we'll see like um employment opportunities, you know, on the internet more, like even more so. I know it's already like that, but you know, that's that Uranian transit involved. So it's
Yeah.
like it's sort of like, and it is unexpected to have that Uranian there. So these new beginnings would definitely be stuff that we just comes out of the blue, something we didn't think, we couldn't imagine, didn't know how you could do it, didn't know how it would work out with this person, and now they're showing up. There was one person I'm reading for, and I go back to, I go, you've met your person. I go back to when they had a Uranian conjunction. That's how you know when you meet your true person. You usually have a Uranus conjunction on one of your Jupiters, your Venus opposing your Jupiter. So I look back to when she had a Uranian conjunction. I said, that's when you met him. And she goes, oh my God, I met this guy one night. We had the best time. We laughed and laughed. I said, that guy's coming back. So
Interesting.
you can usually tell by a Uranian conjunction who your person is.
So you said it's a conjunction to Venus, North Node, or Jupiter?
Yeah, if it's the woman, it's going to be on your Jupiter. So I met my significant other when Uranus was on my Jupiter. Then Mackie, my son, met his person when his Uranus was opposite his Venus. And my person, his Venus was the same degree as my Jupiter. So he met me with Uranus on his Venus. And then
Wow.
everybody else who met their person with Jupiter opposite with Uranus opposite their Jupiter. And then you can also have Jupiter, Uranus making a trine to your Jupiter. You'll meet your person then. So there's almost always a Jupiter conjunction.
Uranus and
Yep.
Jupiter.
I'm sorry, Uranus. Yes.
Uranus. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
very
so
easy.
fascinating.
Yeah. And so it's that feeling of surprise, and suddenly your life completely changes. It's like that surprise. It's the star card in tarot. It's the star out of the blue, completely out of the blue. Like
Yeah.
what?
I'm
So
curious. I'll have to look to see if that was the case for Misha and me. If there was, because it was like out of the blue, and it did change my life forever.
I bet you. What year did you meet him?
2019.
19?
Mm-hmm.
Uranus would have been at about 3 or 4 degrees Taurus. What do you have in your chart at that?
At 3 or 4 degrees Taurus. Well, I have my moon is at 2 degrees Taurus.
There you go. That's when you met
Oh,
him. Uranus was on your moon.
yeah. Yep.
And I bet you could have a Jupiter transit in your chart. You could have a Jupiter aspect to your moon. What's your Jupiter? Do you know?
29 degrees Sag.
Ah, so it's close enough.
Mm-hmm.
It would have tried, wait, Sag to Taurus. I got to look at it because
I know, me too.
it might have been a trine.
Well, and
It might have trined your Jupiter. Uranus was trining your Jupiter on your moon. That's your person.
yeah, so interesting.
Yeah.
Forget he's a later degree Taurus moon, but he's also a Taurus moon.
Well,
Yeah,
it is Venus.
yeah, I
How I
don't
was
know.
expecting his Venus.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know his chart by heart, but I know like little bits. But yeah, so yeah, fascinating. The whole, love and money, they're big ones.
Well, this new moon is with the planets lined up like that, with the Venus, the North Node, and Saturn. We're looking at twin flame, true loves, soulmate, contracted, past life. I mean, like the Saturn is serious, very serious commitments coming up. And so um and it can be people you haven't met. It can just be your past life person showing up. But also it's not just romance. It can be let's say you're already in your true love marriage, you've already with your person. It can be a significant client comes in that gives you an account. Like, let's say it's a law, because Venus can also be the law. It's a law, something you start a case, you do very, very well, and it catapults your career. And this person becomes a regular client, or they meet you or send you many, many more clients. So so you want to go Venus in its full meaning.
Yeah.
And don't forget, Taurus is usually about money. And like you were mentioning, valuing yourself. You're going to reflect your value in your money, how you value yourself.
Well,
So,
they're connected for sure. I
yeah,
mean, they're tied together.
very much so.
Absolutely. So, all right,
You
shall we
want
dive into to Aries? See what's happening? Oh,
have to put it in front of my face. Aries. So
Aries.
Aries is going to be in your second house, right? Aries, let me get this lined up here. Boopity boom. Aries, you're going to have this in your second house. Wow. So that's great. That's like, so um, nice that the squares aren't aspecting the same house as Taurus. Well, actually, no, I take that back. The new moon is squaring that. Okay. There could be a financial upset, crisis, or a fear around money that shows up, that you aren't valuing yourself, that you don't charge the right money, that something about low self-esteem around money causes some sort of a crisis with the Pluto there in your eighth house. No, hang on a minute. Aries, where's Pluto for Aries? Pluto is transiting in your 11th house. That's right, in your 11th house. So perhaps some sort of wow, that's a square to that Pluto in your 11th house. So there might be some sort of upset around some sort of financial thing, like an investment that's online, or some sort of drop in value in your money, or some kind of an upset that spurs you to motivate and to take action and to take this bull by the horn, Taurus, and activate a new venture involving new people or new clients or so there could be a fall down of a current client or friends group that you may have just been attached to, and then you just you end some sort of preoccupation with a friends group or something like that, because this is Pluto in your 11th house. You're transforming who you are in public, social media, and in your tribe, and you're transforming into less karmic choice based types of connections and stepping more into a progressive like-mindedness social group that support your beliefs and your vision for a future and a long-term, because the 11th house is can be long-term gains. So there's some sort of setback that sets you onto a motivated path to overcome a fear, to maybe initiate a new venture, a new creative project, in other words, the old way of making money isn't doing it, and it's been a comfort thing, and it's just not really growing. And now you take some bold action to initiate some new beginning that is a new way to start making money. And it's involving either an entrepreneurial venture, creative project, performing, acting, or teaching, or having children. You quit work and you decide to have children, or I said entrepreneurial, but also a creative. Again, this is going to be out of the box, creative type of an idea that begins, but also is absolutely going to liberate you financially. And it does actually set you on your true path. This is happening so that you do make this choice, so that you do go this direction, because it's going to align you with all these planets in your 12th house, where you're completely dissolving an old karmic chapter, an old karmic cycle, past life, something that's set up in your past life, a karmic, and you're really overcoming this, and you're becoming much more, you're getting a soul layer, like your soul is growing a layer of up. You're getting a growth up here. So there's this sort of breakthrough in some sort of way that you're earning money that's just tension filled, or that's a little bit precarious because it's involving people that aren't stable. And now this destabilizes, and then you have a much more stable, new auspicious start that's going to create you stability for a good 29 to 30 years. Now you're going to be hearing me say that a lot.
Wow. I mean, it sounds really, again, it's that transformational type of energy. And what I find fascinating, I'm so glad that you brought up Pluto in the 11th house in this too, because I didn't quite understand this flower, the
Uh-huh.
fireweed, which
Oh,
which activates recovery from and forgiving someone. So
interesting.
what jumped out at me for this is that perhaps a painful experience that was affecting an Aries that's been holding them back for tapping into that abundance, or maybe tapping into that sense of valuing themselves. And the fireweed expands your capacity to love and your capacity to forgive. I mean, you can even see, like, with the pink, the richness of this, the white, the purity, the expansiveness of the petals. It's a flower that looks soft and gentle, yet powerful. And this feels like that's exactly what Aries are being invited to do during this moon cycle as well. And it dissolves any of the kind of the icky, sticky emotions around whatever that situation is as well.
Yes, I think what God's saying, because Aries is that pink color. Pink is the spiritual Aries. It's the enlightened Aries. So it's almost like the Aries is enlightened to, gosh, you said something very interesting there, to get over the fear of doing what they really want to do and being who they really want to be
Mm-hmm,
online
mm-hmm.
with that Pluto in the 11th house. They're going to be the more authentic version. So it's almost like they're stripping their ego defenses of creating a persona that they're not, and then it's like becoming their, stepping into what they really want, and despite what people think of them kind of energy, I
Well,
say.
that's liberating,
Yeah, that's cool.
truly. Yeah. Okay, Taurus.
I have a technique so I don't forget the cards. I make a pile, and then as I know it sounds really obvious, but the card I don't use, I put on that pile there. So I always see, it's hard to explain, but anyway, it works. Taurus. So this is in your first house. You have your Uranus in your first house. So things are very, any minute now, Taurus can just suddenly, depending on where your planet, where your ascendant is, or your sun is, or your moon, Taurus could suddenly just up and leave, or just sudden change completely can happen at any given minute. So just prepare ye. But Taurus is, Uranus is at the 24th degree right now. So it's at the end degree Taurus that'll feel that. But so this is a new beginning, a new start to your identity. A whole new version of you is being born now. A very sort of independent, more version of you, more authentic you. You tend to change your hairstyles on new moons in the first house. This seems to be something I notice a lot. But then with the Pluto and the Mars and that square going on to your first house, wow, you're taking some radical action on this new moon. You are radically changing your life in some way. You're like pivoting. It's in your fifth house. Oh, oops, let me see. Sorry, wrong one. It's in your 12th house, the Aries energy. So Pisces is in your 11th. Mars is in your fourth. Wow, you move. It's like Taurans just either get up and sell their house. Oh, that's right. You're moving, aren't you? Isn't that funny? You're moving. Wow. So I guess you could have been planning this move for a while, but this is the week you do it. And I think you move this week, don't you?
Indeed, I do.
So anyway, so yeah, the big change is happening for Taurus here. Big moves, big relocations, but new beginnings involving sort of this sort of fresh start. I think this move gets over some sort of fear of your career, because you're going to have Pluto over your 10th house. So you sort of have some sort of transformative faith in the new beginning in this. I think it's a very welcome, fresh start for Taurans. And then they've got that all that Pisces energy in their 11th house. So they're ending in this move comes with new ventures, new meeting new people, new tribes. I mean, that makes sense. When you move, you're going to meet new people, right? You probably meet a whole bunch of new people in your building. And
Definitely.
yeah, and then these people become very significant in your life, and they become very significant to your success because it's in your 11th house. So suddenly you get notoriety, and you're ending a whole cycle of people from your past. And I know this is going to sound bad, but that don't align with where you're going. And
Mhm.
now you're going to be meeting people that really line you up. And this is going to involve like I say, Venus, perhaps this is your soul contract with your divine mate coming into action here. On social media, a new venture coming in. that really is blessed. There's going to be a lot of abundance in this new beginning, and it obviously involves the social media or new friends or new tribes. Now, Mars is in your fourth house, so if you're not moving, there could be conflicts and problems with mother, you know, issues flaring up, ego issues with mother, family, that can show up during this first week, during this new moon. So heads up on that and take it easy on your mothers, Taurus. And let's say that a lot of energy is also going into the career. So this is really changing perhaps a career too, and ending a fear choice based career choice. It sounds crazy, but and ending a job all of a sudden, just like freeing yourself of some sort of, and again, that could involve social media or a job you were doing for a technical job or something, but there is a transformation coming in around your home and your career on this new moon, and this auspicious new beginning enables you to maybe end your job and move. Or these new people that you meet create an auspicious new career opportunity. A lot of good things on this new moon, other than perhaps, by the way, squares can also indicate Mars squares, because I've had them and I've watched them in my chart, can indicate just a lot of physical effort in like endurance type work and hard laborious, carrying boxes upstairs, 50 boxes up the stairs.
I've been definitely carrying a lot of stuff the past couple
Yeah.
of weeks. I can tell you that right now. Yeah, so I was tickled pink when I saw this
Oh,
pink peony for
oh,
Taurus. It's just
nice.
so beautiful, so many petals. To me, it looks like so many opportunities, so much beauty. And
Yeah.
one of the keynotes for this is profound gratitude for the beauty of life. And I've really been noticing that myself, that even in the challenge of moving and not even moving directly from point A to point B, having to take a circuitous route before I can actually move into the new place, that this gratitude for all of the little blessings and all of the little synchronicities that have happened, and just been really, like I said, tickled pink by them. It's kind of fun. So the peony attracts abundance. It's a magnetizing flower.
Mm,
There is something about it. It just kind of pulls you in.
yes.
Um, and then this is what I think is so interesting. This, I feel like, connects very much directly with Pluto and Mars and that black moon Lilith opposition, is it dissolves shame. So
Mm,
any areas of your life where you may be carrying this hidden shame, or this maybe subconscious or unconscious shame, it may rise to the surface to allow you to just let it go. And I feel like that is such a fantastic opportunity, and such a beautiful healing that has the potential to exist. And I would say this goes for everyone, because it's Taurus, because this moon is in Taurus, this moon
right.
cycle. So peony, I wish I could.
Yeah. Well, I like that about that shame thing, because a lot of the times that's what's dropping your sense of self-worth. And this full moon being square to Pluto, you reveal the shame. It opens up that shame that's causing your self-worth. Lack
Yeah,
of.
lack of self-worth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So beautiful peony for Taurus.
All right.
All right, Gemini.
Gemini. Gemini um, are having this in your 12th house. You still got Jupiter in your first house too. So for Gemini, this is going to be an all-around fresh start from basically a karmic past life trauma type pattern that causes low self gosh, Gemini are ruled by Mercury, and all of a sudden I couldn't talk. Low self-esteem, or low, not fully valuing yourself and not allowing yourself to be the full Gemini that you're here to be, which is to have an open throat chakra. Taurus was in the throat, remember? So there's this new beginning from a perspective of a new you. So it could be a new beginning in anything at all, but it's basically coming from a version of you now that's one, grounded, that's more relaxed, that sees an opportunity, that feels you're in alignment, you're feeling connected to your inner intuitive center, And the Pisces energy is where, if that is in your 10th house of career. So some sort of new, you're letting go of an old career thing, an old career way or perception or way of operating in your career, or altogether new job. And you now are operating in a new, fresh version of you, a new, fresh start that that you're going to explore. And then we get that third house, Mars. So you could be moving again with Mars there in that square because you change neighborhood, change area. But also there could definitely be conflict with neighbors or people in your area. Or, and then with that ninth house, so there could be some sort of conflict showing up around your perceptions or your beliefs. It could be with siblings, it can be with business partners, or any kind of a conflict there that shows that you have some sort of lack mentality, or that you have some sort of old perception or locked mindedness, and that you're just not seeing the bigger picture. You're not seeing the forest through the trees. You're operating in the lower mind. Anywhere Gemini is operating in the lower mind, that's one of the things I love studying about, is the higher mind versus the lower mind. And the higher mind was what these priests, these Egyptian priests, were working from. They believed that astrology connected you to your right mind, which was the higher mind, which is connected to, which helped you see the forest, the bigger picture, and it connects you to the heart, which connects you to the truth, right? So Gemini are having some sort of transformation with that Pluto in your ninth house, transforming your beliefs, opening up your mind to the higher mind so that you can operate better from this higher mindedness. And so in that higher minded state, which is going to usually go against some other way that you saw things with that square, that square to Mars and Pluto, and you're going to have some sort of crisis, maybe existential belief crisis. You change your belief on a radical, all of a sudden, like you just see everything different. You suddenly, like you go from Democrat to Republican, that kind of a, it
That's a
happens.
big shift.
I've seen it happen. So it's like all of a sudden you get this big shift because you realize you've been on a karmic loop, and that karmic loop was putting you in a fear place about your mentality and about thoughts. So you're breaking free now to be really open-minded, less like I can only believe this if it's got scientific proof. That kind of thing. And then all of a sudden you go, wow, no, I can't explain it, but that happened. That's true. That's real. There's more in the universe. I'm opening my mind to the hidden realities, to the hidden being a big impactful part of our life, the hidden energies at play. So there's a very big, you could call it a spiritual awakening for Gemini. Absolutely. And an old way of seeing their life, perceptions completely shift. They open up their minds, and they release some old fear-based karmic cycle, which is keeping them in the lower mind or making choices that are lower mind choices. They now break through to the higher mind and now start a new beginning somewhere, because it's in your 12th house. It could be anywhere. It could be an entrepreneurial, it could be a relationship. But basically it looks too like something shifts in your, something fires up around people around you. There's some sort of conflict that triggers you into realizing that the way you're seeing things is not futuristic enough. So in other words, you kind of come at, it can be a painful thing, but you realize it opens your mind up.
I think it's fascinating. This flower to me reminds me very much of a gesture, or maybe the Fool card, like the hat. And what I think is so striking about this is that, 12th house, it's like completion. It's the end. It's like, it's beginning, a new beginning. We've got this new moon, a new beginning, a fresh start. And this flower, the bee balm, is a flower that is hopeful. It reminds you, and again, I'm going to bring in this like stillness, going into stillness, like the gene key, that silence, and being with yourself, finding a sense of calm during times of transition. And this is a time of transition for all of us.
Yep.
And brings a sense of lightheartedness, kind of like what you were saying, Madeleine. It's like, instead of your mind like clutching onto something, like opening it up, and really, I would say, a lightheartedness of your thoughts.
Yeah.
Letting go of that.
And,
So the bee balm,
yeah.
really, really fantastic flower. And I love the purple, really opening your mind, opening yourself up.
Yeah. Did you know that the lower chakras only have the crown chakra? That looks like the crown chakra to me,
Yes.
opening up the crown chakra. The crown chakra has like 144 petals, and the base chakra, I think, has only 6 petals. So we're going up to enlightenment, you know, and that's the crown
Yeah.
chakra opening up. So it's so spiritual. They're like waking up to spirituality on
Yeah.
some in the mind.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that interpretation. So yeah.
Look it up.
All
All
right.
right.
Cancer.
Cancer, rising sun or moon. Um, let me get this lined up here. That puts Mars in your second, the new, ooh, this is good for Cancer. Ooh, this is good. So that's great because basically you've got the new moon in your 11th house, which is a really auspicious new moon. You've got the sun in your second house opposing Pluto in your eighth. So there could be a trigger around finances. There could be like, it's possible something happens in the stock market or some kind of interest rates drop or something where there's some, that's like a money versus investment sort of a challenge there. But it sparks the initiation. It's something that you got to kind of not do, or let's think of something like you could end a debt. It could end a debt there. You could get you have to pay taxes on something, or you decide to invest in something. But it is a challenging aspect, but it could play out either positive or really challenging depending on our charts. So everyone needs to remember that this is all dependent on the chart. So there could be a bad news around money or an expense shows up, but it and at the same time, or it creates in some way a new start to your income or a new way of making money that could be really successful on social media networking, new clients, a new tribe, a new venture. It's really social time to have a new moon in your 11th house. You meet new people that are going to really support and aid your auspicious new beginnings. You could like just sort of your social media could completely really kind of spark up, or you could lose your social media platform on that square in Pluto. It's happened to me on an eclipse. So there's this sort of new beginning, and financial abundance could really spark through some sort of internet opportunity or social media platform opportunity or a new tribe. You could suddenly meet a whole new group of people that really utilizes your services, and you become very abundant and very busy because you're having Saturn in your 10th, and you're going to have Jupiter in your first house. So Cancers are going to have a very abundant year. And so there's some sort of auspicious opportunity coming in now that could end a debt. That's another thing it could do, or or you quit one way of earning money with Mars there. You end up completely changing. You take on another project, a humanitarian. The 11th house is humanitarian mission or project that is very auspicious, that enables you to quit your job and end a debt. Or change your tax bracket, or you could be going through divorce somewhere else in your chart, and you end your financial sort of collaborative relationship, and you start a new relationship, a new financial collaborative, or you join resources with somebody else now in a committed situation because of that Venus North Node Saturn in your 9th house, which often indicates later in life partnership marriages. Let me see what else. And you don't forget those planets are trining Juno, which is the marriage partnership, committed, very committed energies, trining Saturn. I mean, that's pretty easy to interpret. That's pretty obvious right there. And don't forget Uranus is making a trine to Venus, a sextile to Venus, a trine to the nodes. So it's almost like Uranus is liberating us through romantic relationships, enabling us to easily let go of our past, or a joint soul contracted situation that really is very abundant on lines. If you're already with your person, you come into joint soul contract with your person on some sort of internet project or social media YouTube channel. You decide to do a YouTube channel of you guys traveling because the 9th house is travel. That there could be tension and fears popping up around your finances, because Pluto's going to be over your 8th house in taxes. I know for me, I'm hoping it doesn't flare up, but I have my ex-husband and they come after me for his taxes because I was married to him way back and so they're coming after me, and it was just like really scary because they start taking money out of my account, and I see the dog is barking right when I say that. So I'm just hoping that doesn't flare up. It's all been really well worked out. Like things have really, really worked out with my ex-husband and I. We really found like a real karmic clearing through this problem. Like we really did grow a lot between us, and it's been a really good experience, actually, oddly enough. But it
Great.
rattles my fear thing in that Pluto. So it's that feeling of out of control. And you were mentioning being in our power with that Pluto there. We're going to restore. You get pushed to that point of fear. Oh my God, I'm going to die. And then all of a sudden, no, it's all going to be okay. And you survive, and you suddenly have this renewed faith and lightness in your step about life because you know somehow you land on your feet.
Like, I'm
So
okay. I'm okay.
so there's a mixture in this new moon. I'm going to be honest, it's a mixture of sweet and sour.
Mm,
Sweet and
okay.
sour. But the sweetness, I would say overall, because of that Venus and exaltation, you can't get away from that. And even if you're going to go to Vedic and you only believe like the Vedic is real, Venus is still going to be in exaltation, still going to be in Pisces, even in Vedic. So it's in very good energy. That's why I would be surprised if anything does fall in the stock market or we have a big drop. That Venus blessing is something better is going to be, there's a reason for it that's good, that's going to open up the finances to be more abundant in another way, or something shifts because of that. That's more positive for the people because we're going into the age of Aquarius. So everybody on the whole can stop worrying about Armageddon or whatever. Like, we're really entering into the golden era. So things do get better.
Well, we have the saguaro cactus
Right?
for Cancer. And again, it's a very similar flower to the one, and this happened last time as well, to the Taurus flower.
Oh,
To me,
true.
they're strikingly similar. Different, but similar. Um,
Yeah.
so the saguaro cactus, what I love about this is to me, what really jumps out is fearless independence. That's so much the theme for this saguaro cactus and for this moon cycle for Cancerians. And fearless independence to be themselves within their tribes. There's no more hiding, no more not being who you are, like truly stepping into who you are. And that leads to the beautiful lucky gains of the 11th house. Um,
So
it also dissolves disharmonious or misaligned intentions. So what are your intentions going into a friends group or a project or posting something on social media? Lining up with the whole, lining up with what's truly aligned with you and how you're coming to be of service. That's another energy of the saguaro cactus flower. Being of service without wanting anything in return. That's a big part of it.
isn't my backdrop so Taurus new moon in ruled by Venus in the 11th house?
It really is. It's
Yeah.
like I mean, all you needed was rainbows and unicorns to fit in with the birds and the bees and the
Yeah,
flowers and the
I
blue
could
sky.
add them. Yeah.
And then the one last part of this that I want to mention is this also connects with the energy of the divine masculine. And think about
Mhm.
divine masculine as effortless problem solving. It's not pushing against, it's not like striving, working hard. It's just like, oh, there's this thing. I'm going to see what can I do. Oh, okay. I'm going to take that plan of action. I'm going to put it into place, but I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to push it. So I really love the saguaro cactus for Cancer. And again, we've got that empowered yellow in the center. So go
Yeah.
to that place of empowerment, self-empowerment.
Yes. And I see the phallic symbol.
Maybe that's the divine masculine part,
I was
literally and figuratively.
okay. I'm all red now. I feel red because that was all.
You are a little red. Okay,
All right.
so now we're moving on to Leo.
Okay, Leo. So you guys are having this new moon square your so that must puts Taurus in your 10th house.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys are being squared by this. You've got Pluto in your 7th house. Um, I like the new moon for you in your 10th house. That's great. That's like the very auspicious new beginnings, but you know, it could be a crisis involving one way of earning income or a job quitting, or a crisis around your job. Some kind of flare up happens in your job that shows that you're operating from some sort of fear-based, that you're manifesting. See, what happens is we manifest the hidden. We're always manifesting the hidden. That's why astrology is so great, because we can see what the hidden is and we can, you know, manifest in accordance. But like our subconscious, and what Pluto's doing is it's showing us how we're manifesting some negative fear-based experiences in our career that Pluto wants to transform in us, so that we don't manifest. So we manifest better in our career. So some sort of low density energy frequency in the subconscious realm that's not seeing your value, not believing in yourself, not seeing your worth, is playing out in your career zone and in reflecting in your finances, where you now have a big breakthrough. You get courageous, Leo Mars, feeling courageous, your first house, Leo, you're feeling very brave right now, and you're going to just march right on through that fear and just bust right on out of that, and then step boldly as a lion into your new career venture, your new start, your new auspicious, with zero fear, with all the confidence in the world, shining on top of that rock with your mane glowing in the light.
Wow, that was quite a visual. I love it.
And just showing the world who you are, what you're here for, no nonsense. And you know, lions are very relaxed animals. They walk relaxed, they kind of walk slow. So you're right about that relaxed energy. Yeah. And then they just step right up onto that rock and shine in the light without any problem about it at all. And I did a little post about lions recently, because I lived in Africa, and we used to go on safari to the lions and watch the lions, and they scared the bejeebers out of us, because they're not afraid of humans, and they approach humans and they eat humans. You see newspaper clippings all over saying, "Don't get out of your car," because it's very scary. And there's no fence around the safari, and our hotel was only like 2 miles outside the safari, so I was always freaked out there was going to be a lion any minute. So lions are, anyway, basically their other animals run away and hide, not the lions.
How old were you when you were there, Madeline?
In my teens, I was probably like 14, 15.
Wow. Yeah, I could see that's an age where you would be kind of like, ah.
Yeah, but it was really, really fun. I mean, we had a great time. I love the safari, but the lions are hiding. They're camouflage. They could be 3 or 4 feet ahead of you, and you suddenly see them. I mean, that's why they're scary, because that's why
Yeah.
people get eaten by them, because they think there's no lions around, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's a lion. I thought it was a bush."
Wow. Yeah, that would be scary.
And then you get munched, and then all the there's newspaper clippings in the little hut when you go in to pay to go into the safari, and they have all these newspaper clippings of people being eaten by lions, and all the little cubs coming out and eating them. And they just bounce. The guy's taking a picture of a bird in a bush, and the lion pops right up over the bush.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That's how I grew up with that. So I know the lion behavior.
Yeah, that's really terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
That
So
is.
we get so kind of, you get detached from that when you live here and you see pictures of lions and safaris, and they're just walking around, they look cute. But in real life, they're not that cute.
Well, I mean, you're in their
So
habitat.
cute, but yes. But
So,
a lot of the animals, and you're in every other animal, the snake, the impala, the wildebeest, they run away.
uh-huh,
You
uh-huh.
coming, you're always filming their butts,
Right,
because they're
right.
jumping out of the forest and fleeing. Everywhere you go, you see snakes fleeing, birds fleeing, this fleeing, right? But the lion, you're like, why don't I see them fleeing?
They're
Because
like,
they're
I'm staying in my
there.
ground.
We're
Yeah,
waiting for you to come in and eat you. So
yummy.
anyway, back to Leo. That's who you are, you Leos. I'm not saying you're going to eat people, but just saying that this is the energy of boldness, new beginnings, feeling very inspired about these new beginnings, and perhaps going through an ego crisis too. Don't forget, but ending something, a crisis involving your relationship, perhaps, or just changing into your true soul contract with your relationship that you've been too afraid to do, and that your relationship person's been afraid to do, busting through and taking some sort of bold new beginning around a career with your person in the 7th house. And then
Okay.
This is over your eighth. So you're dissolving old joint resources and old contracts and financial, you're dissolving some sort of financial investment or joint resources or old marriage connections or whatever, and now you're going to start some sort of new venture involving your person where you joint resources. So in actually aligning you with your true calling, your true purpose, which is going to involve the occult and the hidden, because we're looking at the eighth house.
Right. Fascinating. So my mind is going in so many directions with that.
I know. I felt like I was on and on and on.
Well, let's focus on the flower. We have the
Okay.
red bird of paradise here.
Oh, we finally got a
So
fire.
we've
Yeah.
got a red one, we've got a fiery one, so perfect for Leo, but then we still have that yellow, that self-empowerment energy. This red bird of paradise is a flower of focus. Get it done. Stop procrastinating on some project or something you've been wanting to work on. Now is the time to finish it. You'll feel this like effortless sense of action that you can take. And I can say for sure, I have a number of things that I have not done. The Gene Keys post for everyone here, that would be one of them. So it's like getting these projects done, finishing things. And there's a feeling of motivation, of drive, of passion. So Leos, tap into that passionate side of yourself. Let that energy of the sun and the square to Mars fuel you. You got Mars in the sign of Leo, like, let's go, let's do it. And you'll have that drive again with that Mars energy and the sun to get things done. So I really love the red bird of paradise for Leo. It feels really aligned. And even to like, it's almost like this like alignment with the way the flower is moving, like pointing you in a specific direction. And you'll know what that is, but really focus on that. Really focus. So red bird of paradise.
That looks pretty good, pretty fired up. It's good that it brings up the word passion because that's also very Leo. So
yes, it is. All right, Virgo.
just had an email came through, someone saying, how do I sign on? How do I join live? But I told them to go, I guess I should put that in on the emails.
But it's on
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Virgo. Virgo. Oh no, I don't know why I'm sharing the screen. I don't need to do that. I got Virgo. So this is going to be Taurus is in your ninth house. So these new spiritual travel again, and with that square to Pluto in your 12th and in your 6th, again, there's if you have planets there, you're having health issues, fire up, or some big fears. And remember when Pluto opposite Mars can be death. And if it's Mars in your 12th house, it can be the death of someone from your past life, a connection, friend. Leo can be friends, family, children, worst case scenario, hopefully not. But that square to that, there's some big radical shift in the way that you see things, in the way that you believe, your belief system. And a new moon in your ninth house could be you suddenly decide you find a teacher, a spiritual guru. You suddenly decide to travel and open up, and because when you travel, you're having a spiritual experience because you're walking into uncharted territories usually. And even if you are going back to the same area, it won't be the same as it was. So it's like you're always walking into an area you don't know. You have this open mind. It just by nature of traveling keeps your mind open. So you're walking in this open-minded state. And so that's kind of what this new moon is, sort of like the new beginnings as a result of an open mind about something, and having really sort of having more of an abundant mentality and not so rigid about some sort of opinion. Because remember, with that Uranian aspect to it, your suddenly mind is breaking open around something, and it could be relationship related because the Pisces is in your 7th. So you're really opening up your mind and perhaps traveling with a soul contracted past life relationship partnership type of a deal. And then you've got Mars squaring. I'm sorry, Mars is, don't forget Mars. I keep forgetting to add Mars is trining all of this. So it's really blessed and spiritually guided with that Uranian aspect. It's like really good news. And perhaps foreign travel for Virgo here to go meet with their person and start some sort of soul contracted, destined joint plan. I mean, with that trying to Juno, that's very kind of romantic actually for Virgo, with that with Pisces, Venus in your seventh. And but again, some kind of big shift and a new beginning. Perhaps you decide to teach, you perhaps decide to travel, or you decide to learn something and start going to school and learning and deep diving in some sort of philosophy, because of a new belief system, and discovering the power of it. Like I have a new teacher right now. I've discovered, from Pisces being in my ninth house, I'm really studying under Santos Bonacci, and he's a Hellenistic astrologer. So he's the one who's I'm doing a book study with him over Marcus Aurelius's book. So that's the kind of a ninth house thing for Virgo, suddenly opening up these new beginnings to learning something and understanding spirituality with the abundant energy of Taurus. It's almost sort of like activating the Taurus field, like suddenly becoming aware of the spiritual part. Because if you look at the little symbol of Taurus, it's a round circle, and then the 8 goes all the way up, but then it stops. So it's the horns. So what we're going to do with this new moon is we're going to complete that Horus, and how you complete is through spirituality. So it's like by connecting the unseen forces, by understanding how it works, you then ground this knowledge. So you're making a connection from this material realm to the ethereal realm, causing the Taurus field, causing abundance, grounding a reality, heaven on earth. So yeah, so Virgos are having a very adventurous new moon for Virgo.
Well, do you recall how I was talking about the yellow prickly pear flower earlier in the
Yes.
cosmic chat? Well,
Yes.
here
Oh,
it is for Virgo. For them, this is a time for them of letting go, releasing the struggle, freedom, empowerment. I mean, all of the things that could be keeping them from expanding their minds or expanding their horizons or expanding their lives in some way. That could be through travel, that could be through higher learning, whatever that is. This also, if any of them, because I think you said their Pluto was in the 6th house. Is that correct, Mallory?
yep. Health stuff coming up for Virgo.
Yeah. So this could also highlight, any areas of inflammation, or maybe a little bit of excess abdominal weight that is leading to some health issues or crises. This will highlight that and really help them move through that. This is a beautiful flower for supporting the body in that way as well. So I really love the yellow prickly pear for Virgo, so they can feel free to have their own experience of life in their own way.
I like
So,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
there we
Yeah,
go.
that really is mind expansive.
Yeah.
A mind
It's an interesting
expanding.
flower to work with, I will say. It's
Yeah.
not, this particular one is not available to the public quite yet. It will be if it doesn't keep selling out, that is. It's just, it really is fantastic. So if you can't get your hands on the elixir, which for now you probably cannot unless you're in the Flower Evolution program, but just take a screenshot of this picture and, lose yourself in the flower, call the energy of the flower in, and that's also really supportive.
Hmm.
Doesn't require purchasing a thing.
And it's interesting because that yellow, because one of the issues for Taurus is to have good value, because then you reflect it in your abundance but a lot of times our self-esteem comes from that yellow chakra.
Yeah.
Power.
Yep. That's true. Libra.
Libra. Okay, so for Libra, this is happening in your 8th house. Now, a new moon in your 8th house with a square that way from the 11th and the 5th could be a financial upset, an upset about money where you feel like you can't pay something, and so now you're going to go into debt. And a lot of people do feel, because Venus has been conjoined Saturn, and I keep forgetting to mention that, and Venus and Saturn does tend to be tight on the pocketbook, money is a bit tighter. But so there's some sort of crisis comes in around your finances, either about your taxes, because don't forget it's tax season. So you suddenly fear you have to pay a bunch of taxes, or you're feared of your taxes or something coming in, which now you clear and you become over that fear and you sort of embrace it. You take it by the bull, the horns, or whatever the saying is, and you really start some sort of new joint resources with somebody, and it really solves this problem. Like you get into a relationship potentially if you're not in one, or you join resources, or you get a loan, or you get refinancing on a property, or you apply for a scholarship, and or in a divorce settlement or an inheritance, new finances coming in from outside sources that transform your fears about your state of abundance. I mean, that's actually a really good new moon. Now, again, it comes with some sour fear triggers, issues around your finances, with that square to Pluto Mars. Again, there could be a drop in the market. So it sort of drops your investment, or let's say you get your money in through rent. And I mean, I don't know if you'd ever have to drop rent, but or maybe one of your renters leaves, abandons the property, and now you don't have rent, coming in, or something like that. Something scares you about your finances that you then find an opportunity through, a solution through it, which elevates you, and you're no longer afraid of this happening again because you always know you can do this. So it's sort of like it ends this fear. Now, also, again, it could be a new venture that gets you in debt, but if that's the case, like you invest in something like a property, real estate, take a 29-year loan out, buying a property. If you do, it'll be, anytime you get a new moon in the 8th house in auspicious energies like this, it's going to work out. You're going to make money on it. Do it. Take the risk, because the 8th house is also taking risks. Pluto is also taking risks. In other words, pushing beyond your fear and doing it but again, I always like to say astrologically informed risks, astrologically supported risks.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be very, like, for instance, knowing this now, that it's a safe time for Libras to take some joint resource investment opportunity forward, and invest in some sort of financial, shall we say, opportunity that liberates you financially. It will feed you very well. And again, this is going to bring up some sort of fears you have about taking risks and being too stable and secure. And now you're ready to go, you're going to go ahead and sign that 29-year mortgage. It scares the bejeebers out of you, but you're going to feel you can do it with that Mars and Pluto. You're going to have the confidence to do it. So yeah, Libra.
All right. Well, Libra, we have, let's see if I can turn this. Hold on. This is upside down for some reason. Okay. So this is the bamboo flower.
Oh.
And the bamboo flower, think about bamboo. Bamboo can be, bamboo is rather lucky, it's a very fortunate type of plant. And then the flowers, they don't bloom very often. So again, similar to the saguaro cactus flowers, the one thing with when the bamboo, that's not true. They do bloom a fair amount of time. But what's cool about it is that when one blooms, it triggers the rest to bloom. So it's almost like when Librans step into who they're meant to be, stop worrying so much about other people, that's going to trigger and activate all the people in their world to really step up in a new way as well. So it teaches them how to release control, to be present, to not feel like they have to control or manipulate things in a way so that they can feel that sense of safety and security. And this flower, in addition to several others that are showing up, I feel like we've got a theme of this effortless action. Mm-hmm. So Taurus is very, like stubborn and unyielding in a way, but this allows that feeling of moving forward without having to be so like pushy and strivey and like take the bull by the horns. It's more like, yes, that's okay, but it just doesn't feel like an effort. It's action that happens easily.
Like when the Taurus field, the bull's eating eating the grass and pooping, it doesn't think about it. It just happens,
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So bamboo flower for Libra.
Yeah. And also bamboo is did you say bamboo is super abundant? So that's
true. That is true.
All right. Now we're going to go to Scorpio. Look
Scorpio.
what I'm doing with the cards. It's a really good little technique I have here. Little
good. You found the system.
Yeah, there you go. Scorpio. So this is happening for Scorpio in their seventh house of relationships. So, oh, this might be a big radical shift and change in your relationship and a relationship ending. I happen to know a couple that are ending relationships. So this could be the final straw that hits the camel's back where you end something or end a relationship. Now, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be a business partnership. It can be someone you work with. It can also be a lawyer that you've hired, but some big significant ending. And then like you hire a new lawyer and it's really, really good. It's your destiny. Remember, these new beginnings involve a long-term stable future and so this is a new if and then a new relationship if it's a romantic relationship that's ending, a new relationship comes in now. That is the one, that's the person that you met way back with Uranus, joined one of your planets, or you haven't met them yet and now you do, and Uranus, and you have a planet around 26 degrees Uranus, a significant planet. So this is definitely the ending. And
26 degrees of what?
uh,
You said 26 degrees Uranus.
sorry, Taurus.
Taurus. Okay.
Thanks
26
for,
degrees Taurus.
yeah. If you have any planets around 23, 24, sorry, 3, 24, 25, 26 to 29, you're getting hit by your any planets in that, anywhere in your in your trining that, you're going to potentially meet your person if you haven't met them. These would be the energies if you have not met your true person, that you would meet them in these energies with that Uranian sextiling the Venus in Pisces, exalted. So dress nicely everywhere you go, because you might run into some very important person. Although sometimes people say they've met their person and they were looking like shabby.
It's because
So
almost like they see their divine essence
yeah,
instead of the
right.
whatever
The fancy,
messiness. Yeah.
yes, the real you, the one that you really are at home.
Mm-hmm.
The way you look on the average,
Yes.
the way you look at on the average day.
Well, that's actually kind of funny because yesterday with Easter, don't really celebrate Easter, but we went to brunch with some friends and I was dressed up. I looked nice. And then we came home and we were going to go run to the grocery store to grab a couple things for dinner. And I threw on like shorts and a t-shirt that I normally just wear at home. And Misha kind of came out of the bedroom and saw me and he started laughing. He goes, wow, that's quite a difference from the way you looked 5 minutes ago. He's like, you've like totally shifted. I'm like, yeah. I mean, so from like elegant to shabby.
That's why you got to be with a man that loves you for the inside, because
Yes.
the outsides are really conditional. It's very up and down.
It is. It really is. Especially for women. I feel like that happens to us a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
hard
Anyway,
work.
sorry. Carry on,
I
Natalie.
always say I'll dress up if the man takes me out. I'll dress if you want to see me dressed up and looking good, you got to take me somewhere nice. That'll motivate me.
That's right.
All right. So now for Sagittarius. Oh, did we do Scorpio?
I interrupted you. You were just saying about with with people like any Scorpios, you could meet your person. So
Oh, okay.
dress up or or
Okay.
not.
Okay.
So
So
and
we're
that was
done
just
with Scorpio. Have you done the card?
no, no.
Oh, okay. I think we're done with Scorpio. I mean, I lost track, so we're fine.
I'm sorry. I
No,
totally
it's
interrupted.
fine. No, we do that. We chat back and forth, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I completely lost track where I was. So,
Well, I mean, I to just
oh,
kind of before I show the flower, I guess the other piece of this I would say is, you talked about the relationship aspects around, a relationship beginning, a relationship ending, the legal ramifications, if something like that is coming up. It could be a legal partnership or collaboration
right.
or some sort of agreement in that way. And then, where's Pluto for Scorpios?
Pluto for Scorpio is in your fourth. So,
Okay.
yeah, so there's a shift, and then you have Mars in your 10th, which why there could be some sort of career shift and change. Scorpios could be working in a field. Like, for instance, I know a Scorpio who is a friend, this new moon in her seventh, they could end, she works for them, and you could end that friendship and quit that job. or some kind of a thing like that. And then, or you quit your job and you have a job because you're afraid you can't pay rent, for instance, but then, and you end that job, but then a new partnership comes in, then you have a new job and you sign a new contract with someone that employs you, or you get into a relationship with your person and you can move, live with that person, and you can quit your job and you can start focusing on a new career, which is going to involve your joint resources because you're going to have that Pisces North Node and Venus. So there's basically a shift. This is a cardinal house. When you see these new moons in your cardinal houses, you're seeing shifts in all the four angles.
Yeah. It's big.
Yeah.
It's big.
Yeah.
You Scorpios, you're going to feel this for sure. So we have the squash blossom. And
Oh.
so this is like this like yellowish orangish. It looks a little more orange with yellow flecks in it. To me, this just screams self-empowerment and
Mm,
creativity. It's
yes.
like this like opening. It's almost like a blossoming, an opening, but it comes from something deep within. It reminds me a little bit of like a yoni or like a womb space. It's like it opens and flowers at the right time. And the squash blossom creates a sense of liberation or healthy expression of your sexual energy, which is creation energy. And if you think
Mhm.
about that in terms of relationships, it's like when we open ourselves up and we allow that creative expression to flow out of us, we show who we truly are. That draws the people that are meant for us into our lives, which
Yeah.
could be the potential of a contracted partnership with a significant other in a romantic sense or someone in a business relationship. This also
Mhm.
activates imagination and inspiration, which to connect it back to that gene key has a lot to do with feeling inspired to innovate something new, to create something new, which could lead to maybe a legal connection with a patent or signing a contract with somebody to create a prototype or whatever that might be. There could be some connection there, and it could be something that you're doing with your current partner, business or personal, romantic. So the squash blossom, I feel like, has a lot of potential that is available if you choose to step into that place of creativity for yourself and harnessing, I would say again, harnessing that sexual energy, because that is like the birthplace of a lot of creative ideas and expansion.
Yes. And then don't forget that Scorpio are getting the biggest transformative impact here because they are ruled by Mars and they are ruled by Pluto.
Mm,
So, they're going through mega transformative. These are very transformative times for Scorpio. So
yes, it's very interesting.
I know some Scorpios that are going through very transformative times.
Yes. All right. Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. Hopefully I saw it. All right. So that's going to be um, Taurus is in your sixth house. So Mars, Pluto, third and ninth. Pisces is in your fourth. A lot of Sagittarians are moving and ending their old family cycles, old karmic cycles, I know somebody who's Sagittarius who's always living with family, and I think they're going to be living with family, ending a karmic sort of, and then that ties in because that's sextiling Uranus in your sixth with that low self-esteem, not valuing yourself with Taurus over your sixth house with all these energies. There's going to be very good chance that some sort of challenging health situation shows up. You may have to quit something. I do know a Sagittarius. Sagittarians are the one sign that really should not drink alcohol because they're already fired up as it is. Not to be on some sort of a lecture here, but this is the kind of transit where you perhaps hit your bottom with drinking or some sort of escaping Pisces, energy, and you reach your bottom and escape, and you have to face some sort of subconscious, lower density, fear-based, trauma-based junk inside you. Think clogged pipes. So it comes up and then breaks you free though, and you really do make a transformation around this, and you start some new routine in your health. You start to do healthy juices and things, and you start drinking juices instead of alcohol, and you do a brand new routine in your life. Or if it's not alcohol, it's Diet Pepsi you're quitting, or it's a stressful job or stressful relationship, something that's causing you to live out of alignment, and you now find alignment and harmony in a new way of living and peace that creates more abundance. It's very much a health, very, very health-centered type of a transit for Sagittarius, but also could be a work job related type of thing too, where you step into a new work, auspicious new work opportunity around the health environment, or um, um, I would say perhaps a new, it could just be a new adventure going on in your chart other ways, and this really connects with more with work, so that can also show up. But then with the Mars and the Pluto in your ninth and your third, you're really going through some big mind transformational thinking. And again, it could be conflict, because the sixth house can bring enemies and conflicts and problems with people at work and tension and stress. The sixth house is not a great house for stuff. It can bring that could be tough actually for Sagittarians. And it's sort of like hearing news about what somebody has a perception of you or some sort of upset, and it changes your belief about that person or working with those people, and you quit associating with a certain group of people who believe a certain way, because it just isn't aligned. It's not higher consciousness enough or something, so it's stressing you out, so you pull out of a situation basically. But then it really you've taken some courage to do that, and that overcomes the fear, which then raises your vibrations, which then enables you to have a very auspicious new beginning. Or it could just be a conflict in opinions and beliefs that motivate you. So if you look at a lighter version of this transit, you just have a shift in your beliefs and you change. And actually, I'm Sagittarius, so I kind of relate to that, because I'm studying with a new teacher, and it's really shifting a lot of my beliefs around astrology. It really shows me that astrology is very much a science. It's a sacred science. It's very alchemical, and I'm really focused on the understanding that more deeper. Um, so and for quitting, I've been definitely on the bottomed out with what was it that I have to really, really quit, even though I always quit, is dairy. And it's been sneaking back into my diet,
Mm,
and I'm just getting headaches, and it's just dropping my health. I react toxically to dairy. Not everybody does, so it's not bad for you for everybody, but I do. But I always want to have it, you know. So it's things
yeah.
like that. So but and then for work, shifting and changing, this new moon in a work house is a new routine. I'm definitely working on diet a lot, trying to sort of nail my best diet here, but so sort of new healthy beginnings, but also a way of working too, in a way that is more Taurus field, effortless,
Yeah. That's definitely a
less
theme.
stressful. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have the bird of paradise for Sagittarius. And this was really kind of confusing me. Speaking of confusion, because it has to do with quieting the mind, about
Mm.
connection. And, just listening to what you were talking about, just knowing about the sixth house, I was thinking, how does this really truly connect with the sixth house in Sag? And it occurred to me later, it's about, how our mind can run amok and create health problems and disturbances with us.
Absolutely.
How we're letting our mind run rampant at night, in particular, at the time when our body needs to rest and reset, and we're not allowing it to do that. So finding a place of stillness, finding a place of connection, maybe with others where you can support each other, connecting to your heart instead of so much the head, like bridging that gap. Um, and finding ways, whatever that is, for you to quiet your mind. I feel like with Sagittarians, quieting the mind is not necessarily sitting still in meditation. It might be a walking meditation, or it might be something that's a little bit more active that allows that energy to flow. Would be really supportive. And when you look at this flower too, this is like a bold, big flower. It's that, it's maybe not red, but it's got that orange. It's almost like this fired up energy. It's like, so, how can you harness that energy that in a way that's supportive of your health and your well-being, versus one that's detrimental to yourself? Like almost like that energy, instead of going out, is focused more in. So the red bird of paradise, I feel like, just gazing at that flower, it's quite lovely. It's one of my favorite flowers. So
Yeah, and that orange energy is very Sagittarius and Leo, that fired up
Hmm.
from us from a because these are fixed energies, and with Uranus there, we're destabling something to become more stable, to create more stability. So
Yeah,
it seems like a stable grounding situation from which the Sagittarius can express their fireness.
they can and be in alignment with themselves, therefore really
Yes.
supporting their health and well-being and their work too, their day to day. All right, Capricorn.
Capricorn, so this is happening for you guys in your fifth house. So, and
Adelaide card.
ah, wow, you caught it. Good job. Capricorn, Capricorn, Capricorn. Okay. So you guys are going to have this in your fifth house. So that means some sort of crisis situation could end up firing up and ending a friendship and ending a relationship that's casual, that's not a serious relationship. Or a relationship stops being a friendship and they turn into a serious commitment, or you decide to have children, or there is a terminated miscarriage could happen on this transit. And don't forget, miscarriages are always for the highest good. But a termination of a creative project or a creative collaborative, or ending an old entrepreneurial venture that just isn't providing, that isn't feeding you. Um, and then a big brand new beginning coming in. And this is Pluto is in your second, so you're transforming your fears around money with that Mars in your eighth. So there's courageous overcoming of some sort of risk to take around money, and perhaps investing in an entrepreneurial venture. Be careful not to do something that isn't like checked, vetted, but basically a new auspicious beginning involving some sort of entrepreneurial or creative project, or having a child. Again, if it is a miscarriage, then you know, a new beginning could happen. A new child, of course, could happen, but I don't know if in the same time frame. But it's a metaphor really for something just not working out and moving away, so that the new better one can now be born. The right thing can happen here that's more in alignment with what is divinely intended. And the destiny in your third house, all this Pisces energy in your third house, you could very well start an entrepreneurial business or come into a co-collaborative business venture with a most likely romantic partnership. With Mars in your eighth, you suddenly take bold measures to invest in something, or to co-collaborate or co-invest in something on, or you get investment for a creative project coming in. You take bold moves to go ahead and invest. There could be a tax issue showing up that you have to fight, and you have to go into the IRS and fight. I know Capricorn is doing that. My ex-husband, go in and deal with the IRS and finally tackle this, face this bull and take it by the horns. And then this gives you a big new financial boost to start something, or to invest in something, or you gain investment into an entrepreneurial venture. Or let's say you're a music producer, you're working in the field of music or creative venture, you get funding, you overcome the fear, you end your job that's earning money, you can now make money over this creative project because you're going to get sponsorship and funding. Some kind of upset around friends, something, all things fifth house, which is the house of Leo. Upset, ending, ego, ending friendships, but then you're more in your power, because you're going to, these, whatever goes away in these are just fear-based attachment issues that you're holding on to because you have fear of not, you believe more in the dark than the light. Pluto in your second, eighth, Leo over your eighth. It's like you're learning to have more faith in the light than the dark around money. A lot of Capricorns have some sort of karmic around money, a lot of kind of fear-based attachment energies to money. So it's like you've really had to let that go, and you land on your feet in some sort of auspicious, exciting new way. So you have the funding or an opportunity for new auspicious beginnings or you make new friends that bring auspicious new beginnings. You meet a new creative group that you work with that brings you good money. All of that.
Oh, funny. Okay, so we have Jasmine for Capricorn. Let me see here if I can tip it so you can see that. Now, what's interesting about Jasmine is that this flower has everything to do with recognizing your own inner beauty and feeling appreciative of yourself. So this is not so much outward focused, it's a little bit more inward focused. And it allows Capricorns to feel a sense of increased confidence. So if there's some area of their life that they are having trouble stepping into their confident selves in, which I would say usually tends to be work related. It could be creative projects in this case, because it's a fifth house transit. Wherever that is for you, this is a time when you can really shine. You can really step into your role, and you can feel that radiance that's emanating from within you, seeing that your inner beauty. This also is a very magnetizing flower. So you'll have maybe the opportunities for those creative projects, or maybe an opportunity for, for a child, for birthing something into the world. So I really love jasmine. It's got such a purity of intention, and it's very heart with that green around it. Feels like a really supportive flower for Capricorns, who tend to be more like, uh, uh, kind of energy. What do you think,
That's
Natalie?
so fifth house. It's so masculine and feminine coming together and creating a third thing. It's so like husband, man and woman coming together, making a child. That's the third expanded element. And it's so I'm thinking a lot of Capricorns get into their true divine mates relationship again, soul contract, twin flame type situation, and they now create the third expansive element. They create something out of nothing together with your person. It can
Oh,
be a
beautiful
child or a
project.
yeah.
Yeah, dig it. All right, Jasmine for Capricorn. All right,
Nice.
getting towards the end here, Aquarius.
Yes, yes. I accidentally pushed the wrong button and I got all the way to went backwards. Okay.
And don't forget the
Aquarius.
card.
Yeah, Aquarius is Pluto in your first house. So you guys are going through a lot of transformations. I literally did like 3 readings for people with Pluto on their ascendant this week. Like they've got so many people.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And they all have Libra suns or Libra something in their ninth, But so they're going through major transformations with Pluto, with Mars opposite that, about they're most of them are in some sort of a circumstance where they have to really stick up for themselves and fight for something and show up and be this brave self-advocate. So they're stepping really strongly into their center power, who they are here to be. They're going through a big transformation. And this new moon happens in their 4th house. So there's a good chance that there's a new auspicious beginning involving a divine counterpart. Or if you're already married, you move into a new home, you find a new home. This is where you're going to live for a good 29 years. You're going to sign some sort of contract or mortgage payment. You're definitely starting a new family. Again, this could be a child, having a child. Leo is always going to represent the 5th house, which is child, is squaring your 4th. You could have a child leave home. Children's leave home. You could end a relationship, and so you move out because of that. I do know someone with Aquarius moon, oddly enough, who might be ending a relationship and moving out. With Mars, you might get into a conflict with a relationship and you suddenly leave and move. Or you end a partnership agreement with a lawyer. You're having a conflict over a real estate deal, and you have to end the realtor and you start a new one or something. But there's some sort of a conflict. And then with Pluto in your 1st house, you become more empowered over this situation. And then you start a new beginning in a situation in a living situation, a family, or you buy land and you start gardening and you start a gardening project. The 4th house is gardening and Taurus is also gardening. So you buy a farm and you start land investment or crop investment, or you start your own garden and you sell the vegetables, you start a project in your home. Well, now don't forget, Taurus can also be very creative and artistic. So you start a creative interior design project and you redesign your house so that you love where you're living. And it feels very where you can live for a long time. Maybe you build a house. You start building a house, you start a construction project and you live there for another 29 years. What else with that square from the Mars to your opposition? Yeah, when the sun's squaring it, the relationship's going to go through some sort of transformational energy, and you could, or you get very, very hard work with your spouse. You know, you have to do a lot of burdens together. You take on this project together of a new real estate venture or living opportunity or family. Or you, again, like I say, you end a relationship. You, in your power, you no longer want to live with this person. You're just putting yourself under, you're just not valuing yourself enough, and you see you deserve more and better living environments. So you leave and you end a relationship, or you you and your relationship both agree that you need to live in a better environment.
Interesting. Okay, so we have Euphrasia for Aquarius. And what I find interesting with the fourth house is, you know, you think family, you think home, you think, I mean, I think ancestry. It's fourth house is connected to Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So there's this opportunity for tapping into your intuition with Euphrasia and allowing that to guide your direction when it comes to maybe purchasing a new home or moving or changing a living arrangement in some way, and being decisive about it, like really following that intuitive hit and trusting it. There's also this feeling of dissolving of self-doubt. You're, again, with that intuitive knowing, trusting your own guidance, not doubting yourself when it comes to, oh, this is the place for me. This is the place for us. And then you have a heightened awareness. So maybe it's a place that you've driven by 15 times. And during this moon cycle, you drive by it and go, wait a minute. Well, I've never noticed that before. Look at this beautiful place. That would be a wonderful home for us. So Euphrasia is a flower that really can be supportive in allowing you to be decisive, tap into your intuition, and have an awareness of the potentials that might exist that you may have missed otherwise. And it's just, I don't know, something bright and cheerful about it as well.
Yeah, that's like, if, first of all, that's 4 flowers, if I'm not seeing, if
I
I'm
think
seeing,
so.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
interesting. 4,
Mhm.
you know, 4 pillars of structure. So
Yeah.
it's their lives are completely restructuring and they're going to settle down. It's like settling down energy for another 29 years, most likely.
Mm-hmm. All right, Aquarians. All right, we're wrapping it up here with
Yep,
Pisces.
yep.
Thanks for hanging in there with us,
Thanks,
folks.
everybody, for watching and being and commenting and liking and all this great stuff.
Yes.
So okay, so 12th, sorry, Taurus is in the 3rd house for Pisces. So
Did you hold the card up? Did you? I don't know if you did or you missed it. No. Okay.
it was in my hand though.
That's good.
Better than normal. It would have been over there when I forgot it. So okay. All right. So Pisces, you guys are, well, so okay, new moon in the 3rd house is new, usually can indicate new relationships or having other things happening in your chart that involve moving. And so some sort of relocation, shift in your neighborhood, shift in people that are around you. Perhaps a crisis shows up and you move and you have to leave all of a sudden abruptly. You have to move, you have to take action, you have to communicate, busy new emailing, or some sort of information comes in, because that's a 3rd house communication, that shows you have to abruptly get up and go. Now, it could be an opportunity that shows you that you have to get up and go abruptly, but there is some sort of new beginning. Now, it can also be in the media house. It doesn't just have to be your environment. It can be that the 3rd house is media, writing, communication, social media, advertising, selling. So an opportunity comes in where you are being called upon to step into a media position that really is involving your true divine counterpart, because don't forget, we have all that going on in the North Node and Saturn and Venus conjoining, which is ruling this new moon. So some sort of very auspicious new beginning involving a counterpart, true love, connected, divine, past life, soul contract, a new business, a new media project, a writing, co-collaborative writing project, a book project, now, this is also the house of It's a air house, so it's desire house. It's a Gemini house, so it's like something that you really desire. It's like and it's in Taurus, so it's like very pleasing. So it's very much about something you really want, you really desire, you really. So it's feeling really good. It doesn't just feel like hard work. It's actually like a good new idea. The third house, an idea. So some sort of media idea you really desire that's really lined up. Now, again, ruled by Venus, this could involve signing a contract or committing to something with a joint partnership agreement or your divine counterpart that's going to last a good 29 years. And it's some sort of very abundant co-collaborative venture. Now, if you're not in a relationship, it's not co-collaborating. If you're a musician, a lot of Pisces are musicians. It could be musical mates. A new musical band comes in. You meet your new musical partners. You're fated. You make a band that's going to last you a good 29 years of abundance. Create a lot of abundance for you. You could get new exposure on a media platform, and you're invited to expose your arts and what you do on a media and start selling. If you're a painter, you start selling your art, you're getting exposure on some sort of media platform. You suddenly get this new opportunity to expose yourself, or you just get written about in a paper and you get this exposure, and suddenly you start meeting these group of people and you're hired, or you get some kind of invitation to another media platform. So, and then Mars is in your 6th and Pluto in your 12th. So you're going through a lot of shifts, perhaps again, addiction bottoming out for Pisces, or shifting pretty radically in some sort of day-to-day habit, your life changing on a day-to-day because of this new beginning. You suddenly become very busy. Your life changes on a day-to-day. You have to travel a lot, short distance travel. You suddenly become busy. Your life could become more stressful at first till you learn how to calm it down and get into this Taurus field vibe of the effortless abundance, calm down. But this does set up a new life routine for the Pisces, a new day-to-day way of living. It's going to change. Your life's going to, the way you live on a day-to-day is going to change. And I can see how that might happen for me. And I'm a Pisces moon. So this new beginning changes your day-to-day how you live your life on a day-to-day will be completely different. The new beginnings now, that may not happen right away, because remember, Taurus is in this picture, which always delays everything. But these new beginnings are an indicator that eventually this is going to start growing, and your life then becomes permanently changed. Your day-to-day routine completely shifts. What did you get?
It's so interesting to me. I feel like I say that all the time because it really is. It's so fascinating to me. So we have the nectarine blossom for Pisces. And what I find so interesting about this is that nectarine blossom, peach blossom, both of these are similar flowers in terms of finding the sweetness in life. And the nectarine blossom specifically has to do with friends. So you can see there's 3 blossoms, but then there's also this like sprout in the center. We're talking about the 3rd house of communication, but also neighborhoods. So, there could be this potential of changing who you're around, finding the sweetness in life in a new community, in a new place, which then leads you to feeling a desire to be of service, because this nectarine blossom also dissolves feelings of discomfort. So perhaps you're living in a place that you like it, but you've got issues with the neighbors, or the place is okay, but you're having a problem with something within the unit, and you're ready for a fresh start. So this gives you an opportunity to be able to do that. And then when you're in that new place, to be of service in your new community, to bring that sweetness with you wherever you go. And then, that sprout is kind of, to me, I receive this message of it being a fresh beginning, a new start, and you being able to continue that flow of giving and being of service in that new community where you're living. So
Yes.
sweet
Good.
flower.
Yes. Good for adding the service element to it.
Yeah.
This house. Yeah. And how many flowers? That's 4 flowers. And then I like what's interesting is that there's a little bud. That's the new moon in Taurus, is that little bud coming up,
Yeah. Well, I think there's 3 flowers.
Oh, are there?
Yeah, 3. But either way.
Okay, 3 flowers and then the budding.
Yeah. a little fresh start. So
Well, that's the third house, isn't it?
third house, exactly. So I want to go back to the start, just show the night blooming Sirius one more time. This flower is one of the few flowers that's available as a single elixir, single flower elixir. It's also in the full bloom blend, which I think is a really cool blend to have right now in the springtime. And it's this, we're all blossoming into who we are meant to be. We're all planting our seeds for the future in this Taurus energy. Yeah, so just so people know, if you want to work with this flower specifically and see exactly how it could affect you, that I'll drop the link below. And then also, you know, if you want it in a blend, it comes in the full bloom. And I will say I have full bloom the mist, and it smells so delightful. It's probably one of my favorite ones. So if you're into scents and aromatherapy kind of support, that's a great one to get. Madeline, anything coming up on your end that you want to share with anyone, with folks?
Well, I'm just doing those monthly videos, so I'll be doing that soon. So look out for your sign for May. Having a lot of fun doing those. Yep.
Yay.
Yeah, no, nothing other than just I'm waiting to see how all these shifts are going to happen in my life, because any minute now our lives are about to shift. So I'm just sitting here ready to see what happens.
It's exciting. It's
Yeah.
very exciting. So if, you know, please do like, share, and comment. Madeline and I love it. If you have any questions or things come up for you, let us know. We're here to support you in whatever capacity we are able and you desire. And then we'll be back in a couple weeks with the
Scorpio?
Scorpio
Moon.
full moon forecast, which
Yep.
will be quite fascinating to see what's happened in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, Pluto
This
will
is
be retrograde.
what will be retrograde?
Right. Pluto goes retrograde, because right now we have all the planets direct, so that Pluto will be in retrograde on the Scorpio, which rules Scorpio, which is kind of interesting.
Ooh, that is interesting. Okay, well, and just so everyone knows, this is my last cosmic chat here in this location. So it's a little
Final
bittersweet. Yes. So next time I'll be in, I'm not sure where yet, but I will be somewhere else.
those little white things in on the shelf. There's like,
It's my book.
oh,
The
it's your
things I have
book.
left on my shelf is my book right there.
Okay. You're quite far away from the shelf. I
I
had
know.
this perception. I thought it was right behind you, the
No,
shelf.
it's a
Full
pretty
time.
good, it's a pretty good distance away
You're
from me.
like on a dining room table, and that's like the buffet section behind you.
Uh, it that's not what it is, but yes, I would say kind of like similar to
Okay.
that dynamic. So yep, let me just pop over to the live and see if anyone has any questions. Nope, I think we're all clear there. So thanks for those of you who joined us. Thanks for watching till the end if you're still with us, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Amalia, for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, everyone. Okay,
I got to
and we're
charge.
clear.
Okay, I'm listening. I'm just charging on my laptop because I'm at my last bar. I didn't want to
Oh
get
my goodness. Actually, I'm gonna run to the bathroom super fast and then I'll be right back.
okay.
All right, I'm back.
sweater on. It got chilly all of a sudden.
Well, maybe that rain did it, huh?
Yeah. So I'm putting on my sweatshirt.
So yeah, so basically here you can see
Oh
like
yeah.
it's like
Okay.
yeah,
Are you on a table? What are you sitting at?
it's a desk.
Oh, a desk. Okay, got you, got you,
Yeah.
got you.
So that's like kind of where I've been working. Like, so when you
Oh,
see me, that's what I'm
oh,
doing.
oh,
And
wow.
then like coming, that's the front door. It's hard to like kind of
Yeah,
see.
I see it behind you.
Yeah. So like, so basically the front door was like to my left. And then there's a like a
What's
here's
in there?
it's a bedroom, but it's like it's
Oh,
all taken apart.
okay. It's where I
Yeah.
would have stayed probably, or maybe
No,
it's
I'll show you. This is where you would have been this way, where there's more
a
stuff.
nice apartment. You've got a lot of light.
Yeah, it's there's yeah. And then you would have been in here, which again, also like the beds are taken
Oh,
apart
right,
and
right. I'm
yeah.
impressed how much daylight you have.
Yeah, I mean I get a lot of sun. And
Yeah,
then and then in here, this is like my bedroom, bathroom, closets, bedroom here. It's kind of taken apart too. And then so in front of my desk was my living room, which
okay,
you can't even see because of the
right,
sun.
right. Wow, and there's your kitchen. And
Yeah.
wow, what a big apartment.
Yeah, it's 2,300 square feet.
Oh,
It's big. My new place is not this big. So like you were talking about like all of the things, it's like the space is one, like I'm having to get rid of stuff and I feel the crunch of the space. And then my garage, having a private 2-car garage was really nice and
yeah,
now I don't have that. And
right.
being on the second floor here has been great in terms of like I just go down one flight of stairs and I'm out. But being on the penthouse level in the new
Oh, yeah.
building, it's like I got to wait for the elevator. It's
Yeah.
18 floors.
Interesting.
So I've got to factor that in. And then Misha doesn't have a,
Isn't that weird? I said something about the elevator.
yes, I know.
Weird.
Yes, exactly. So it's like, again, not like these are smaller things, but like, I don't like that. Like I'm parking in the garage of the new building, which is like a communal big garage for
Yeah,
everyone. And
right,
then Misha's parking outside because we only have one indoor space and one outdoor space.
right,
It's kind of like when we leave, we go out to the garage together and it's
right,
stupid little things, but
right,
um, and I don't have it as I don't have and I have only have one extra bedroom instead of two extra bedrooms. I don't have a third bathroom, I only have two,
right,
and it's it's not a big thing,
right,
really,
right,
like
right.
really. But
Well, I get it. I totally get it. Because I moved out of my beautiful house in South Pass, although I had to, I was bored. My life was, I couldn't live in California anymore. And here I am in this little shoebox. But I'm really happy living in this little town. So,
yeah.
you
I mean,
know,
I think that's the thing. It's like we
make
make
it work.
choices and
It'll work
things.
somehow.
Hey, listen, I every time I go over there, I feel good because of the view.
Oh, nice. That's
It's
great.
it's
The view
just
is
beautiful.
fantastic. Yes. I wonder how my life is changing because listening to Sagittarius Pisces, they're both moving. So maybe I move. And if I move, I'll really be sad because if I do end up with my twin flame, there's a good chance I have to move, probably with him. And I would not want to live where he lives, but I would to, if that's what we have to do. But I would be sad to leave my little spot here in town.
Yeah. How far outside of town is he?
He lives about, I mean, the ideal situation would be if he wanted to rent a place together in town and we get a new place. That would be ideal.
Okay.
But the schoolhouse, he lives there and that's like 9 miles, 15 minutes out of town.
Okay.
Well, more like really 9 miles. It's 10 minutes, 12, something like that.
Okay.
But around 15, So,
But
so that's out of town.
not not convenient like you've got
No.
now. I mean that
So that would be a bummer. But the good thing would be I would be with him and then we would be working on our thing together. So I'd have to maybe consider moving to be with him.
Yeah. And
But
it may be,
I don't know yet, because we'll see what happens. Maybe he doesn't show up at all and it's somebody else, or my life doesn't change and everybody else's lives does and mine doesn't. Because I'm sitting here waiting for the changes because I don't see anything happening yet. Other than that, I'm getting really good new clients.
oh, that's fantastic.
And my social media is getting better a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hardly get any likes. I've only got 100 and so many followers. It's fine. But what's getting better is I'm starting to be a bit more confident about it.
Definitely. Definitely. And I mean,
So
I feel you too on like, I was going through posts today because I wanted to pull some information to post on my story about the live and whatever. And, I was like looking at some of the posts. I'm like, nothing's really gaining any traction. I'm like, what am I
right.
doing this for? Do I continue doing this? Do I not? And I'm like, I keep thinking, you know what? I totally feel like my life is going to be changing in so many ways,
Yep.
like all those karmic points that are being activated right now. I just need to just do what's in front of me and not worry about all the other
Yep.
stuff.
And the other
And
thing, did I tell you things that take a long time do better? Like they're good, and things that happen really quick are the devil.
yeah, yeah, you did say that.
You
Yeah.
know. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, new beginnings for you in your Taurus house. I think that's your career house.
I feel like I am, I feel like I am little by little, like incrementally, it's becoming clearer. And then I just need to follow the
Yeah.
nudges.
Yes.
But for now, and the opportunities, like the
Right.
invitations when they
Right.
arise. The Black Moon Lilith transit is exact in April. So I feel like not April, August. So I
Okay.
feel like, around my birthday-ish is when I'm going to see some things shifting. And I have also seen that in a couple of other areas. So,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
mean, these are great cards coming out right now as we're talking. I was getting like, these are the cards coming out as we're talking. So this is for both of us.
let's see.
Look.
I
Oh,
can't see them. Oh, I see lots of
oh,
pentacles.
yeah, and that's like social media or businesses. I mean, look at these cards that are coming out.
Yeah.
This is a really good new moon.
Oh, I love that,
Those
Madeline.
pentacles, I know.
That's
So I was pulling
fantastic.
cards as we were talking, and then this card slips out.
Ooh,
So that's
okay.
good news.
Okay. I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's
So
fabulous.
I think this move is going to be really good for you. I think it initiates, you're leaving the past behind, and there's the world card shows up.
I definitely feel like it's important. It's an important part of my journey.
Yeah.
I need to shake off the old, you know. I need to shake off Rick a little bit more. I think this is the last vestige of that as
Yeah.
well.
And then you'll be able to start your auspicious co-collaborative with your true person here.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. He actually, a couple days ago, he was like, I have a surprise. And I thought, I was like, oh, what is it? He goes, I want to wait and tell you tomorrow when I see you. I'm like, okay. He said, unless you want to know now. I'm like, no, I can wait. So the next day, he was like, we're going on a cruise. I was like, what?
Wow.
And he said, yeah, he goes, I got booked for this 5-day cruise in the Caribbean. And so I'm going to bring you along as my assistant. So we
He
can,
got booked for a cruise. Wow, that's the beginning. Wow, that's a big deal.
yeah,
That's a big
exactly.
deal. This might be the beginning of you two collaborating.
Right. I don't know what that looks like. It's not till next year, but the
Uh,
fact that it came in now,
Right. Right.
and I'm like, and he actually even, we were talking about this about a month ago, maybe a little
Yeah.
less than a month ago, about traveling and like it being work related. But I
Yeah.
was thinking about it for myself. But I always like miss his influence, like how he, it's not that I miss it. It's just I'm focused on how it's happening in my sector versus his sector. But
Right.
I mean, the whole YouTube thing, the dating show we were on back during that grand conjunction, that was
Mm-hmm.
through him. That wasn't even through me. So I don't know. We'll see. It's just,
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very, very significant sign.
Yeah, I think so too. I kind of giggled when he told me. I was like,
Wow.
oh wow, okay, that's interesting.
Pity it's so long away, but we'll see. I mean, that's a sign of something coming in. Something else should come in too, though.
Yeah, I feel like it will. It's just I feel like this move is really taking up so much energy, and
Yeah,
I'm honestly not looking to spend a whole lot of money right now on
right.
anything other than the
Yes,
the
the
move and the
moon.
renovation. I just got to get
Yeah,
over
yep,
this bit.
yep,
So,
yep.
all right, let's look really quickly at dates for the next one.
So the next it's going to be May 12th, I think, right? It's happening May
Let's see. So
12th.
today is the 21st. So the 28th is 1 week. The 5th is 2 weeks. When is the next? Let's see. When is the next full moon? Yeah. When's the full
The
moon?
12th of May.
It's the 12th.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. So we want to do it maybe the what?
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Month. I want to go to month.
I don't
12th.
think I can do Monday and I
Um,
can't do Sunday.
uh,
I could
well,
do,
we could do just want to do a week. You don't do Sunday or you do want to do Sunday? We could do the
I
fourth.
can't, I can't do Sunday. So I could do Tuesday the 6th
Okay, it's fine.
or Friday. Yeah. Tuesday the 6th. You want to do that?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna do
It
this
gives
now.
us a week away, at least a week before it.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on the 12th. I have my note, my
it
note.
is. I just checked.
Okay, good.
Okay, so Scorpio, full moon. We're gonna do that on
The 6th.
May 6th at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific. All right, I'm gonna send this to you. I'm gonna do this now, and then I'll send you the recording.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Oh, it won't let me. It won't let me do it won't let me create the invite because we're in a meeting. So when we're
Okay,
done, I'll finish that.
sounds good.
Um, okay. I think we're good. That was good.
Okay, let's do a joint shot.
Okay.
One more.
Okay.
I look silly. Hang on. You look good, but I look
Okay.
silly.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
Good.
you. Okay.
Okay. Yay.
All right.
All right, my dear. It was great to see you.
Good to see you. Good luck with your move.
Thank you. Yeah, send me some good vibes
Bye.
on 25th, and then also some nice expeditious energy for this renovation.
Yes.
Yeah, like
May it be
smooth.
expedited.
Yes, smooth, easy, all the good stuff. Thank you.
All
So it
right.
is
Hugs.
done. Big
Yeah.
hugs. Okay. Bye.